Cody named Sin, among the children created by the Dead House, was the perfect masterpiece so far. The stealth skills, weapons, and even the assassination was a result of a completely different level in every respect. So it was supposed to be sent to the Yakuza family, one of our best clients, but there was a delivery error. Instead of Japan, it was sent to Korea. 5 years have passed since then. I give up, thinking he's dead, but thinking you'll bring him back to me. Go find him. So, whatever's on your mind. I understand, Rachel says. Yes, I'll start the collection process right away. If something goes wrong, they ask for strength. And according to his trainer at the Dead House, Rachel, responsibility and specialization. The director of the Dead House says, "What do you say? Take him back without hurting him too much? Also leave your gun here." This is exaggerated. The story moves to Korea to his father, Hyun Ho. He apologizes to her. Joseph's father, Kwon Byung-woo, says, "Why do I have wrong excuses for not teaching him? He reads upon himself. I promise you the costs of Hyun Ho's treatment and mental care, and whatever you ask." Hyun's father says nothing will change even if you do this here, since this is not something that might end with a simple apology. Joseph's father says it didn't work fine, then I'll go my own way. Hyun Ho's father says, "I think efficiency is the most important thing in everything we do, but seeing as you have no intention of negotiating, there is no reason for me to continue wasting my time. I have many other options that I can turn to. And besides, this is my specialty." He leaves the place with his car and says, "My nose is itching, all that dust and the rotten smell. How do you even do your job in a place like this? Just demolish the place and build a new building." The car driver asks, "How is that child doing? Did you take care of the matter?" The driver says yes. "Let the assistant take care of it." "Oh, he should finish the matter now and call us." The story moves to Joseph in the hospital. He says, "That scoundrel. I knew that someone from his speech told his father. He was saying something about the 3 principles engraved in it." 3 principles. Is this a popular thing among children these days? I know that. After he says that, suddenly he says to the nurse, "Can you please give us a moment?" He slaps Joseph and says, "Do you know what angers me most about this? Whether you bullied the boys and that led to them jumping out of class, I don't care about any of that. If you went to his house to end the matter, you should have ended things completely. The basics of business are that you should never do the same thing twice, Joseph. You should seize this opportunity to learn properly. That's how adults do things." The story moves to Shion and a gang of Joseph's father. They beat him. One of the gang members says to Shion, while he was lying on the ground, "The matter did not go as planned. It is true that 4 boys of the same age as you were beaten, but the same thing does not work with adults." He grabs his arm and says, "The young master has become half paralyzed because of you. So you must also atone for what you did, right?" He breaks Siwon's arm and says, "This is how adults handle things, boy." After they leave, he bullies them and says, "This is how adults handle things, boy." He returns his arm. Stupid says, "You can't even tell the difference between broken bones and dislocated joints." Something like that doesn't even come close to Rachel's punishments. He says to himself, "Stop this. Things have really gotten complicated. I cannot use my full power without an order, because of the 3 principles." He takes his bag and goes. He says, "Okay, this should be enough to calm things down. If you don't calm down, I have to get a new ID. However, that will be very difficult." He comes out of the corridor and meets his father. His eyes say to him, "This is you. But because you look like this," he says, "Hello, Aunt." He then goes to Hyun Ho's store. His father says, "Hyun Siwon, you don't have to act polite. I'm fine, so eat a lot." Siwon says, "As I expected. I consider his father, Hyun, to be like my mother." He eats and then finishes eating. He asks her, "Is Hyun Ho better?" His mother says, "The doctor said the surgery went well, and we don't have to keep him under observation. You know how much Hyun Ho prays. So even if he goes through a difficult time, he will overcome it, but it seems that I cannot do that while my daughter is in this state. She cries and says that I cannot do anything about him. I wanted to destroy everything. Like an overwhelming pain in my chest. That boy's father, I wanted to tear him apart. His father, Hyuna, says, I'm really sorry. I know he doesn't know how to act like this, but you look and you don't find him in his place. He has left. The story moves to the construction company owned by Joseph's father. He is celebrating because some work has been completed, but suddenly, one of the attendees receives a punch in the face. Shion attacks the rest of the guards. The guards say, what's wrong with this brat? You're really good at dodging. He eliminates the majority. One of them shouts, turn on the lights. After turning on the lights, they look and do not find the boy with blonde hair. They search for him. Joseph's father says, the boy with the blonde hair. But the Shion comes out for them from under the table. Says the good boys of the dead house. The first principle. The father's words are absolute. He attacks the guards and eliminates them. He says she wanted to tear him apart. He eliminates 2 followers, one of whom attacks him from behind, but he avoids the attack and dodges it. He says, oh my god, I dodged. That's not bad, but I'm sure I broke your arm. Shion attacks him and breaks his arm. He tells him to watch carefully. This is how you break the arm. Joseph's son was shot from above, but it was not hit. He looked at Joseph's father for a long time and said, Joseph's father is targeting more difficult than I thought. Shion says it's difficult to hit a target at that distance without being a professional. Joseph's father says, you really seem really knowledgeable. Are you a professional then, boy? I heard that kids in Korea are doing something, a gang or something. Are you part of that too? Cheon gang. I don't know about that, but if you ask me who he's affiliated with, it's Hyan Ho's meal shop. Joseph's father says that the cheap food store in that alley stinks. And I finally realize it now. What did that woman say? If I asked you to kill me or something like that. Shion says, no, you told me to tear you into pieces. He dodges him and takes his weapon from him. He says, you bastard. Is this her revenge? Shion says, this is not revenge or retaliation for what she did. He hits him in the face until he falls to the ground. The first principle says, the father's order is absolute, and he leaves. Joseph's father is lying on the ground. Jae's father says, you can't do the same thing twice. I knew that and that woman. I should have taken care of it properly. Next time, I'll kill you all. Shion says, why? He is talking about this useless nonsense. He shoots the light at the top so that it falls on Joseph's father. He says the third principle in the case of a threat to the parent's safety. We have to intervene and solve the situation. He leaves and says, whoever is like his father, so what is the injustice? They are all alike. The story moves to Joseph while he is in the hospital. The nurse says to him, dear patient, I feel pain anywhere. Can't you really see? They say that violence is truly terrifying these days. This is the first time I have seen someone injured to this extent. I think that whoever injured you is really good at fighting, but this is exaggerated. But I know what you and your father were talking about before. The 3 principles mention something like this. Joseph says, that medicine, what is it? The colors look suspicious. The nurse says, there is no need to worry. You will not die if you only use half of it. She removes the mask. If it is one of the dead home's teachers, Rachel says, Woa. The 3 absolute principles. Do you know what they are? He screams in pain and says, no, I don't know what the hell this is. Rachel says, take it easy. I mentioned it to your father earlier today. Or should I change the question? Do you know a boy named Basin? His trainer at the dead house is Rachel. Responsibility, specialization, disguise, impersonation, and also interrogation and torture.